say, well, how's a child going to learn? I say, first 7 years, they're in hypnosis. They don't have to be taught. They're like a video camera. They watch their parents. They watch the behavior of their mother, the father. They watch the behavior of the siblings. And I say, what's happening? They're observing the behavior of others, which is now being downloaded into the subconscious. That's the download part. When they reach 7, they can start to be creative with consciousness because now they have a database. But now, significance? 70% or more of the downloaded programs before age 7 are disempowering, self-sabotaging, and limiting as given by psychologists. What does it mean? It means that my subconscious is really loaded with programs that do not support me and do not really support my wishes and desires because that's creative conscious mind. So I go, wow. You say, well, fine, I won't use my subconscious mind. I'll just use my creative conscious mind and create for my life. And I go, well, interesting idea, but problem. And here's the problem. When you're thinking, you're not paying attention. If I say, what are you doing next Thursday? For that moment, if you're going to think about it, you have to go in your head and look at a calendar and go, Thursday, what am I doing? I go, well, if you're walking down the street, driving the car, doing your job, and you have a thought, it doesn't mean you just stop, because the subconscious is the default. The moment the conscious isn't playing, the subconscious kicks in. So you can have a conversation with somebody in the car and then realize, you haven't looked at the road for 5 minutes. And then you go, well, I'm still on the road. And I go, well, who drove the car? I go, well, while you were talking, conscious mind was busy. Subconscious took over.
Here we are in Atlanta, Georgia, sitting down and chatting with Lynn McTaggart, author of The Intention Experiment.
In my husband's book, The Untrue Story of You, he defines where people get this kind of negative thinking from. And a lot of it has to do with defining ourselves in terms of undigested experiences we've had in the past. So the past takes us over like an unwanted guest. And somewhere in there, we have interpreted our experience to mean that we don't have enough somewhere or we're not good enough somewhere. And that becomes the frame by which we see the world. And so whenever we see some experience, or we have some experience, or we see something, we interpret it as being more evidence that isn't life awful.
There's a formula that we use that's very important, and it says that your thoughts lead to your feelings, which lead to your actions, which lead to your results. So your results originate in your thoughts, yes? But here's the distinction that nobody seems to ask. So what creates your thoughts? Why do you think the thoughts you do and someone else thinks it's completely different thoughts? And the answer to that question is conditioning, programming. You learned how to think. You come in as an empty vessel, and then you get all this information plugged into you and poured into you. And that's all you know. That's all you can act from. And so we know what we know. We know what we were taught to know. And then we act based on that. And we don't even know why we make the decisions and choices we make. We just make them based on the best we know how. But the best we know how is extremely unsupportive to success.
And our belief system is based upon our evaluation of something. And if you reevaluate, your belief about it will change. We've got to reevaluate who we are.
So learning